Welcome to today's video. Before beginning, please read the trade disclaimer. Please understand that this is not financial advice, just my commentary and opinion. Don't forget to press like and subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of the latest new videos. Everyone, so in this video, we're going to be looking at the head and shoulders pattern. So in this particular pattern, we have a pattern which looks like two shoulders and a head in the middle. And what we're trying to do is effectively take a trade on the break down or the breakout of the head and shoulders pattern from the neckline. So first of all, what we have is we get price which moves from the low to a high, and then price then comes down to create a point 2. Okay, then once we have point 2, price then goes from point 2 to point 3, which creates a higher high. From the higher high, price then comes down, but does not potentially create a higher, low. But it does create potentially a equal low, so equal to point 2. Price then moves up to create a high, but the high is not higher than the previous high, which is point 3. This point 5 can technically be almost the same length as point 1, can be higher than point 1, yeah, or lower, okay? And understand this is called the right shoulder, okay? So you've got the left on the left-hand side and the right on the right-hand side. Another thing to also understand with the head and shoulders pattern is normally what will happen is you'll get price potentially volume moving up as we create the left shoulder, and then as price comes down and creates the head effectively, what you get is a drop in volume. So the volume will technically fall. And then as the right shoulder effectively starts to build, the volume would potentially start to move up slowly, but you'll get a peak of it on the pullback around here. So effectively what you're doing is you're getting a rise in volume, like potentially like this, and then moving up, and then effectively coming back down, and then moving back up, okay? And then you'll get the sort of pullback. And this is an important profile to understand when looking at the head and shoulder patterns. So, in this pattern itself, what we need to look at is the potential targets, where our stop losses will be, the breakout points, and how we will manage our profit targets. So to look at our profit targets, what we have to do, we take the high of point 3, which would be the head, and then pull that down to point 2, which is effectively the first, low created, okay, which is effectively the neckline. All right, so we will take that and go to the point where we expect it to break the the neckline on the right shoulder. Okay, so that would be a potential target where we would want to target for our take profit. Okay, now what we want to do, as we have an idea where our take profit will be, okay, we'll mark that down, and this is roughly where we expect. Now, in the ideal scenario, what you will get is once the neckline breaks at point 6, price can pull up and then pull back to the neckline as a retest to ensure that the neckline is now resistant, and then price comes down. There will be cases where price does not behave like this, and it may not do a full pullback to the neckline. It may just pull up slightly and come down, and in certain cases it may just go straight down. Okay, so as we now understand that, what we want to do now is look at our entry level points and how we can potentially maximize our profits, and also where our stops can be. Okay, so what we want to do initially is our entry can be on the break, which is at 0.6, and our take profit can obviously will be to the neckline length, which is from the head to the neckline, as our TP. And again, with our stop loss, we can either have this at the previous high, which could be 0.5. However, this does reduce our risk to reward, or we can have some custom areas. So again, as per my previous videos, what you've seen is we'll be taking a fib. So in this case, we'll take the fib from, point 1, which is the left shoulder, down to the neckline. And what this effectively gives us is a break of 0.25 in each way. And what we're going to do in this case, as we did with the previous videos, we can go here, we can tick this box and do, let's say, minus 0.25. Okay, that's one level that we may look at now, which is below here. Then the next one can be effectively 1.25, and that is another level on the top side. Okay, now we have this. What we can do is use this as a way of setting our, stop losses. So in this case, if I wanted a stop loss, I could potentially put it down to 0.25 level. The entry can be on the break of the neck, okay, and then TP at that point, and this will generate a nice 6.87 risk to reward to 1. The other way is obviously slightly more risky, but you have the ability to make more profit. You can take it effectively a rejection, where we get potential rejection and creation of the right shoulder. Now, this is on the basis that the right shoulder is similar size to the left. In certain cases, this may be a smaller shoulder, or maybe a slightly bigger shoulder than the left shoulder. Okay, now if it is slightly bigger, then obviously there is that chance you could get stopped out if you enter too early by presetting an order, or you could wait for the right shoulder to start to be created and take the entry as per. So if we do take the entry as per, our entry could be on the creation of the right shoulder, and our target can be to, again, from the neckline up to the head, in this case bringing a massive 10.7 to 1. And one could also turn around and say, well, in this case, I could move my stop loss to break even when I'm in profit, maybe down to the 0.5 or the 0.25 level. And so I would be looking at, this type of scenario. And this would be obviously a bigger trade. Now, if we do get a pull up and our, right shoulder is bigger, then you might want to consider at that sort of point is waiting for the rejection to occur and to the start of the shoulder to create, so we can then put a better stop loss, and so our trade doesn't stop out beforehand. Okay, if you wish to take a smaller potential trade, or less, ideally you could say less, maybe riskier, what one could do is take an entry a portion of the way up after the break, and once the break has happened and you start to get a reversal, we can then essentially put a trade on the same midpoint, so we get the test as resistance, and as we come back our trade gets filled and we set our take profit target, same from the neckline to the head. And in this case, you still get a nice risk to reward of 3.71 to 1. And that's what I would be kind of looking at, maybe from the shorter side of the trade to the slightly more, bigger trade from here. Again, understanding the risks of each one and taking the trade as per. Okay. And so that's it for myself in this video for the head and shoulders pattern, and we'll go to the next one. Thank you.